She just moved out from her cot. She used to live there for 5 years, of which she hated her stay. She was always embarrassed by the rats. And when she achieved her dream, she moved to the only place that would take her. On the other side of the street, she got the stare of her neighbor. And at first, she thought that was just the curiosity of a new tenant. But the neighbor, with nothing but a white t-shirt on, stared at the eye while she cooked. And I guess he wanted to give her a dessert. So he started touching his small dessert and wanting the eye to watch. She tried to act nonchalant, like nothing was happening. She stopped cooking. She switched off the light, locked the door, crawled to her room and cried. Over the years she lived there, she didn't feel safe. He was waiting for her to wake up, waiting for her to come home so he could put his pants down, position himself out the window, and please himself. She really thought about changing the address or changing the country or changing the planet. The first lonely eye in space. The violently imposed image caused infection to the membrane of the eye, and it itched and it hurt, and she wanted to tell someone, but she didn't have a mouth. Then the other eye. She was very curious, very ready to explore the world, new faces, new experiences, and she was kind. She believed that if she speaks with kindness, kindness will look back at her. But she was also naive. One night, her curiosity led her to a rented room with a face that spoke in bright words. And at first, she thought that was just a conversation, and then the gaze of the face changed. It darkened, something animalistic, something that she couldn't recognize anymore. But she was too trusting to see what was coming. When the eye went to rest at night, her body got woken up. A boundary was crossed. And the kind of a boundary that words can't prove. She pushed the face away, vision got blurry, and she just only heard back, "I just couldn't resist." Afterwards, nausea come and go again and again, purging what was forced inside of her, and she was told that she had to be silent because it was scarred, the face's reputation, but also nobody will believe her she's looking for attention. And because she was kind, she did. She didn't tell anyone. She pushed every friendly face away from her life until she ran to her friend. And he embraced her, he cooked for her, he cared for her, but he didn't know what I have seen. This is when I started feeling really sick. And the infection started to spread. Only if she had a mouth to say. Then the nose. The nose was always runny, was too runny to smell when words were just words. And one day she met a new face, familiar but new, different from the others that made hers those runny. And for a brief moment she felt like she could breathe. And she felt, wow, is this what breathing feels like? It's too good to be true. And it was. White long line went up to the nostril of that face, and she didn't took the substance, but she felt the influence of it. He put on a new mask or dropped one off, and she couldn't recognize him anymore. But he kept stuffing words in her nose. One day, some there, the next day, space. New holes were created in the nose of hers. And she kept stuffing them with lines of reassurance, lines of love, lines of care, thinking that the more you stuff the nose, the holes will close. Oh, that poor nose with so many holes. No matter how many lines of reassurance she take, they just will slip through the nose, through the holes, to the floor where her self-respect has fallen. But if she didn't want to be sick while she was going through the same cycle over and over again, if she wanted to be cured while she was taking lines of lies, did she just have like 3 months expiry date? But she had no mouth and she couldn't answer. And then the years. I would say that they were quite big and very ambitious in 16. And she didn't really want to shrink them to the closed off mentality of her surroundings. And she wanted to be that alien dummy that was so different from the rest. So she heard so many things said about her and family gatherings with friends in the hallways, at meetings, because she was pretty and she was ambitious, and they obviously wanted to teach her a lesson that if you're pretty ambitious, not all your dreams will come true. And everything they said, it was repetitive, like, you're just a dumb seamstress. Hey babe, you're a little bit too pushy, like, can you find something that you're actually good at? And when the years succeeded in silence and a lot of lonely nights, another words came off. Oh, we knew you could do it. Yeah, it was really easy for you. We knew. I mean, if you take space, yeah, I guess that's the way. And the ears felt that no matter how hard behind the scenes works she does, all the lonely nights, all the sleepless nights, all the sweat and tear and blood, it was nothing. And in the ears, the earwax became so stuck that all she could hear ringing in her brain was, "You're not enough." And the infection spreaded and the eardrum bursted, and she couldn't hear any good thing from behind. And only if she had a mouth to turn back from all the comments. The years and days have passed, and the face became increasingly swollen from crying and increasingly red from shame and more painful. And then naturally crumbled and it relaxed sharply and it sneezed. And sneezing is caused by foreign particles entering the body, and it's explosive burst of air, usually coming from the mouth. That very much needed mouth that the eyes and the nose and the ears were begging for. And it's worth noting that sneezing cannot happen in your sleep. You need to be awakened. And that sneeze felt like waking up of every millimeter, of every wrinkle, of every muscle on the face. That sneeze was just waking up.
Когда дышим, като не ми дават, когда дишам, що ме задушават, когда дишам, що главата ми държат под вода, държат и умишлено ме давят, когда дишам, като не ми дават, когда дишам, що ме задушават, когда дишам, що главата ми държат под вода, държат и умишлено ме давят, когда дишам, като не ми дават, когда дишам, що ме задушават, когда дишам, що главата ми държат под вода, държат и умишлено ме давят, когда дишам, като не ми дават, когда дишам, що ме задушават, как да дишам, що главата ми държат под вода, държат и умишлено ме давят. Трудно съм жива, но съм аз и намерих смисъл, и намерих глас. Има мощ, има сила, има власт над себе си, а вече и на вас.
Safe cities, sensible spending, basic stuff. Can you imagine how awesome it will be? And we're gonna take Doge to Mars.
There was a car in space. The car had a license plate. Don't panic. And the car is owned by Elon Musk. The rocket that propels the car, it's owned by Elon Musk. And it's driven by a dummy in a costume owned by Elon Musk. And the costume that he's wearing is also his property. The dummy has taken an important pose, or rather frozen in that pose because he's taking a monumental step for humanity. It is driving the most powerful car set with the most powerful rocket, which will bring us closer to the future, which will bring more satellites to the red planet, and will bring us closer to colonizing Mars. Also, it will strengthen the control over the American intelligence over ordinary people, that ordinary people which are observed and who buy and eat, and as a reward, it will bring them to Mars. Wow. The tourists are already piling at the rocket, and they will take pictures. They will take selfies like crazy. And this will be possible because this rocket is not only powerful, but also cheap. Wow. The tourists are already there mentally with the dummy, with the car, and they wait, and they are waiting in their food to see, not knowing what they will see. The dummy passes through the stratosphere and sees a flying potato pie with meat. Yes, this is what the tourists will like to see. Click, click, and pictures are sent to the relatives on the ground. The pie has barely been eaten, is just sitting there still, begging somebody to try it. And the dummy doesn't understand those things anymore, doesn't feel hungry. But look, the dog Laika would have very much enjoyed the pie, but she's dead. She didn't expect the dog to return. And now particles of Laika are barking in space, searching for a way back home. Because no matter how far you throw away your dog, it will always come back home. Does this car go somewhere near the moon? Where there's nothing but a golf ball thrown by Alan Shepard from Apollo 14. Did he throw it to Laika before she died? The dummy looks out of the window, sees the bow and thinks, yes, we're gonna have a lot of pictures here. Because the tourists will place out their small hand at the window of the rocket, and they will pretend like they're holding the golf ball, and there's gonna be 3 more million pictures, the same as the Eiffel Tower. Wow. Look, there is a disco ball sent from Humanity's Star from New Zealand in 2016 for no particular reason. Just to sparkle and shine there in the sky. And the dummy sees it, likes it, if he can like something. But it will make the tourists happy. Yeah. But the tourists are getting hungry. So they're served with fries. And they taste like McDonald's and they're green. You know, like advertisement gimmick. Out of this world fries. Yeah, the tourists will like it. But the tourists are getting more and more grumpy and they're yelling at the dummy. Can you drive faster? How long until we get back home? Can you play some music? We're getting a little bit anxious in this rocket. But there's still no way back home. The experiment continues. And the music has already been played. Elon Musk's favorite song. Space Oddity by Bowie. But there is no atmosphere in space, so sound cannot travel and you cannot hear that song. And the dummy doesn't have a driving license, it just pretends to drive this car. And it pretends to listen to that song, and it pretends to be important, but it isn't. The dummy just wants to make the tourists happy. And there's still no tourists. But the experiment continues. Everything is wow, just don't panic.